tell us a little about what led you to being a spiritual director. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so if you saw in the first episode, I was talking a little bit about how I struggled through life a little bit and eventually found my way to Catholicism and went through the journey, became Catholic, went through RCIA. And once you get through that, you think, okay, I've arrived. But really, life is just stages. We always think about, one of my favorite things is people talk about life being a journey. And really, in the end, I see it more of a pilgrimage. Because when you're talking about life being a journey, it's just going from birth to death, and there's really no purpose or point to it. But really, in the end, a pilgrimage is when you're going on a journey, but you have a specific holy place in mind. And for me, so instead of being birth to death, it's birth to heaven. And so what I realized was going through that whole period of life is that I had found Catholicism, but that wasn't it. I needed to figure out, where am I going next? What is my next thing? And at the time, that's what led me to writing Waking Up Catholic. And for a couple of years, that was my focus, was helping people that were new to the Catholic faith learn more about the basics of what we believe. But then life kind of got in the way and started popping out kids. And next thing you know, I don't have the same time to devote to the ministry the way I wanted to. And that call kind of stuck on my life, though. 4, 5, 6, 7 years had gone by, and I was still active in my church and spent time trying to do things in ministry, but I wasn't doing the creative efforts anymore. I wasn't writing, wasn't blogging. And that call just never left. And so using kind of the principles of discernment and the Ignatian spirituality that I love so much, I started trying to figure out, where was God calling me? And one of the ways that God calls us is in a very direct way. And at the time, I knew, I need to go back to school. Because when I was a writer before, that was a big roadblock I had. Was everyone said, oh, you don't have the credentials, you don't have the degree behind your name or something to be able to be, a good Catholic writer. So decided I was going to go back to school. I hop online, I go into Google, and I said, all right, I don't want to be a theologian. There's a lot of theologians out there. I want to do something different. And maybe there's something more spirituality focused. So I typed into Google, master's degree in spirituality online. And the first thing that popped up was Loyola University Chicago, which comes on the hat here. And so to get that as a message that here was St. Ignatius again, popping up in my life, saying, here's where you need to go. And when I started going for that program, one of the big things for St. Ignatius is the spiritual exercises. This 30-day retreat that you take, or you can do 30 weeks. And usually when you're doing that, you go through with a spiritual director. So in the program, they offered the spiritual direction certificate that you could get along with your master's degree. And I figured, why not? And here I am. So basically, it was one of those things where it wasn't something I necessarily intended to do. I knew that God was calling me in a direction, and I was open to wherever he was going to lead me. And in the end, it led me to spiritual direction, which now that I'm actually starting to practice it a little bit and meet with clients on a weekly basis, it's been the greatest thing in my life, to where here was this surprise career, this surprise ministry or vocation that God's calling me to, that 6 months before I never would have expected.
That's incredible. So kind of, I want to parlay it over with Directional Faith, your YouTube channel. How did that name manifest itself? Like, where did you come up with the name?
Because I realized that, for one, I wanted to be a spiritual director. So you always think about the idea of direction and where's my faith going and what direction is it taking? So like I said, I see life as this pilgrimage, and that in the end, I don't want to just wander through life. I don't want to just simply stumble into things and find my way the hard way. I want to make sure that I'm following God's will for my life, whatever that may be. And so the whole purpose of Directional Faith is, if you look at the logo of it, which is behind me on the wall, is that road sign. That Christ is that road sign for us. He's the one giving us the direction if we're looking for it, but we need to be paying attention for it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Practical Theism podcast. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to check out the full episode, you can do so by finding it on our YouTube channel. Definitely consider subscribing and ringing that little bell so you can continue to get updates, notifications when we release new episodes and new clips just like this one. I hope to see you soon.